Hello and happy Saturday, Detroit. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Beauty in the D, hosted by yours truly, Stephanie Coney, where we focus on power, wealth, and style. And I never disappoint. Every week we have a special guest, a great guest, one of Detroit's influencers, one of our movers and shakers, people that are in the community who have boots on the ground, especially in the political world. I bring that to you every week. So, before I even get into our guests, remember that you can catch us here every Saturday on WJZZ Cool TV, where we're streaming live on YouTube and other top social media platforms. And you can catch us here every Saturday from 1 to 2. Today, I have in the studio Miss Kimberly Curry Smith, and she's here today to talk to us about some of the grassroots work that she's done in the community and to help our leaders move forward and help propel our city to another level. Thank you so much for being here today.
Good afternoon. I welcome you once, I welcome you twice, I welcome you three times. My name is Kim Curry Smith. I'm a political consultant. I've been in the business since 1991. I help propel people to higher levels in deeper depths. Oh, I'm glad you asked, what do that mean? That means that I'm out there with my foot on the ground, passing out literature, talking to people, going to events, and letting them know that my candidate is the best candidate and why he is the best candidate. Okay, I'm glad you asked. L. Williams, he's running for the Michigan Democratic Party leader. He has had his boots to the ground over 20 years. He has propelled some of the most wonderful leaders in the city of Detroit, beginning with L. Garrett, the ASME retired president, Isaiah Isaac Robinson, and many more. I got introduced to L. Williams by the great Abaddon, and I'm sure everyone in the political world knew Abaddon. She said, "Girl, you gotta get engaged." What you mean, get engaged? You got to become a political person. You got to be out here with your foot on the ground because you're very important to the community, giving them information. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Become a precinct delegate so you can let the people know what's really going on.
Now, Miss Smith, prior to you getting into the political arena, what were you doing prior to?
I retired from Wayne County after over 30 years. I worked in various departments. My last department was the Wayne County Clerk's Office, which was the most busiest department, which was the most experienced department for me because there I opened up cases $25,000 or more. I swore in sheriffs. I swore in judges. It was a very prestigious job, and I helped put out fires when they were trying to find like one-page documents because I worked in the basement putting charged together, and then I gravitated upstairs to the second floor because of my work experience, because I am a people person, and this is how I learned to do the many things that I did right inside the clerk's office. And many people don't know of the many aspects of the clerk's office.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to, well, now it's birth and death and CCWs. We also have records from veterans. So if you have a veteran that need to know or have their DDA, it's located in the basement in the city county building. It's no charge. All you have to have is their name and approximate date that they served.
That's good information. So you became a precinct delegate after you retired from being at the Wayne
Before.
County. Oh, before you retired from the Wayne County Clerk's office.
Yes.
Okay. So what? Let's talk about what's your district? What precinct do you belong to?
I belong to the 80 precinct number 85.
Okay.
My Wayne County Commissioner is Jonathan Kinlott. My
Okay.
City of Detroit councilperson is the Great Honorable Scott Benson.
Gotcha. Okay. So you've been one more time a precinct delegate for how many years?
What's that, over 30 years?
Over 30 years.
1991.
So you
This,
enjoyed helping the community.
I enjoy bringing information. I can't tell you how to vote, but I can just tell you what the facts are. I'm nonpartisan. So I just tell you what the
What the
facts are.
facts are.
Yes,
So what is precinct? What area is precinct number 80?
85.
I'm sorry, 85. What what area in the city does that encompass?
Okay, we're the east side, and we go from Kelly Road all the way over to 8 Mile, and then we go down 8 Mile all the way to Van Dyke, and then we encompass the whole area like Van Dyke all the way back around,
Okay.
all the way back around. Like in a pattern,
Yeah.
in a
Okay.
pattern.
So for those who don't know, I am recently sworn in precinct delegate 359. For you, for those who are watching, can you explain to those what does a precinct delegate do and how important are we to the community?
The precinct delegates are very important to the community. As I said, we are nonpartisan, so we just have to present the facts to you, and we have to be out here and be engaged so that when someone out your precinct asks you, well, what is what is a city council person? What is a Wayne County commissioner? You have to be Johnny on the spot as to the duties of a Wayne County commissioner, the duties of a city council person, and how they can impact your life. We all are in this fight together to make Detroit and Wayne County and surrounding communities a better place for people to live, even senior citizens such as myself.
Amen. And I'll be honest, when I first met you, I felt your passion about the people, the city, and our communities. And that honestly really helped to motivate me and inspire me to go ahead and run to become a precinct delegate myself because I was not one at the time that I met you. We were at a political event and we were discussing about what precinct delegates do and just how to be more hands on in the community. So thank you for that. So today, what candidate or who are you talking about? Who are you endorsing now and for what?
I'm endorsing Al Williams for the Michigan Democratic Party leader. And you ask me why? Because he has been out, he's a young man, and he has been out here in many aspects. He was a former attorney for ASME, and anybody in the labor field know that ASME is the largest local for American Federations of State, County, and Municipal Employees. ASME is the background for labor. ASME is who protect jobs.
Hmm.
ASME is the one who introduced me to breakout sessions, so I would know more about how labor works and how it doesn't work. I lost a job because I did not know my rights. And I made it up in my mind that the next job that I would get, that I would know all my rights inside and out. As a 1659 member, I wore many hats. I always attended different conferences, and I went to the breakout sessions because I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn my rights. I wanted to know exactly how the union works. And I must say that I am a proud member of ASME 1659 because that's where I got my groundwork from. I'm a proud member of Retiree Local 38. I wear many hats. I'm a proud member of the Statewide People Committee, where I am the recording secretary. So, although I am retired per se, I'm still out there with my 10 toes to the ground because it's very important
And necessary.
and necessary.
So how you find time to do all of this?
Well,
I
I
know you're
mean,
retired, but you sound more busier than me. How you have time to do all of this?
well, I let God lead me. I let God lead me. I
Hmm.
let God lead me. Every day that He wake me up, I tell Him, thank you for this day. And let me exhibit my fruits of the Spirit because I'm 70 years old and I
Amen.
thank God for each precious day. And don't take me wrong, I had some mountains, I had some valleys, but through it all, He never left me nor forsake me.
Oh, here we are. We have our special guest. We were just talking about you. Come on in and have a seat, Mr.
Okay.
Al Williams.
Hopefully everything was all
Welcome, welcome,
positive. Hello,
welcome.
hello,
It was
hello.
all positive.
How's
I learned some
everyone?
things about you that I didn't
Hello.
even know before you walked in.
Okay, okay,
So, ladies
okay.
and gentlemen, you are watching Beauty in the D, where we focus on power, wealth, and style. We're here on WJZZ Cool TV every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. You can catch us streaming live on YouTube and other top social media platforms. And so we were already just speaking here with Miss Kim, but now we have, I'll say, the man of the hour, Mr. Al Williams. He's going to come in and talk to us about his current grassroots work and his new initiatives and endeavors. Thank you and welcome to the show,
Thank
Al.
you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. I've good to be here. When I pulled up to see it was the Black United Fund office, I thought that was absolutely amazing. With my history, not only with the Black United Fund, but as a Morehouse man and a person who's always been supportive of African Americans, at least exploring the option of going to a traditionally black university and
Wilberforce to the
college.
building.
Okay,
Amen.
okay, Wilberforce. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I got out excited. I was like, "What? Wait a minute! They should have told me it was at Black United Fund." And so, and then WJGZ and Roger and all the things that he's done.
Yeah,
I've been a part of WJZZ before, and I
you
applaud
said.
all the great work that he has done
Yes,
to keep WJZZ going
yes.
and
This
the
is
name
history.
alive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I applaud the work that he's done, and it's good to be here. So, I'm happy to be here. I'll
We happy
answer
to have
any.
you.
I'll introduce myself, answer any questions that you have. But man, I'm just so excited to be in the place right now.
Yes, yes, yes. We have the precinct delegates in the room.
That's right. That's right. That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
All
So,
right.
so yeah, what's up, Roger? Roger done walked in, and okay, all right, bet. So, I precinct delegates. I was just there the other day. It was my pleasure to swear in for the seventh time, which means we've been doing this really for about 14 years.
Wow.
Um, to swearing in precinct delegates from Wayne, Oakland County, and
Hmm.
other places from around the state with the United Precinct Delegates. And for those who are listening, watching, and may not know, a precinct delegate is the most local elected official that there is in your community, in your neighborhood, in your city, in your county, in the state of Michigan. There are local elected officials and always have been in the state of Michigan called precinct delegates. They're elected in your neighborhood. They literally are on your ballot
Hmm.
when you go to vote every 2 years, whether you're voting for governor or president. And they're really the bridge in politics. And the state of Michigan hasn't really empowered them, highlighted them, or explained their role to the community or to the precinct delegates. And so
Right.
I've been working with a number of people, including my fiance, Tashana Gill, and the United Precinct
Tashana, how you
Delegates.
doing, Tashana?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. To talk about train, recruit, and empower really
Hmm.
local elected officials. That's really the grassroots movement.
Yeah.
No matter which way you look at it.
So how did you come a part of it? Share with the city. How did Al even become in the political scene?
Yeah, so I grew up. A lot of people say I grew up a hardcore Democrat. Was raised and will die a Democrat.
Okay.
I was the kind of kid that at 5 years old, my parents put a T-shirt on me, gave me some literature, and pushed me out there. So I had a T-shirt on that said if I was 18, I'd vote for Coleman Young, passing out literature or whatever. So I learned the importance of grassroots organizing at a young age.
Mhm.
I can remember seeing a sign in my garage growing up. It had Williams and the word Democrat under it. And so I, just growing up, I synonymously thought that the values of the Democratic Party were the values of my family,
Okay.
and the values of the Williams name. And so I ingrained those values into my life: equality, inclusion, fighting for democracy, making sure that everybody's in, nobody's out, fighting for those voices who are often unheard
Mhm.
because they don't have the resources to get their voice out there. And so that's pretty much been my life. So I became a Michigan Young Dem at a young age.
Mhm.
Um, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that yard sign in a little bit that I used to watch. But I became a Michigan Young Dem at a young age with my good friend, former state representative Isaac Robinson, who, we worked together to build the Michigan Young Dems,
Okay.
recruit young people to become part of the Democratic Party, as well as recruit young people to become
Now, how
precinct
did you do
delegates.
that though? What did the recruitment look like? Did you just go out and say, "Hey, young sir or ma'am, what did the recruitment look like
I
to
mean, it
get
was all
people
based on
involved?"
issues. I mean, we were 20 years ago, we were talking to people in the LGBTQ community when the Democratic Party was holding members of the LGBT community out of the party.
Okay.
And we were talking about their issues and
Mhm.
how they are in line with the party's values.
Okay.
And so, or we were talking to African Americans about, the importance of their wallet and how politics affects their life from the birth certificate to the death certificate.
Mhm.
And they need to get engaged. And so, and people started getting involved. Or we were talking to parents about how politics is involved in the whether or not their child has a high quality education.
Which is
Um,
important.
exactly, and so it was those kitchen table issues that people were showing up to and wanted to know more about, and so that's how we recruited a lot of young people into the process. I mean, literally, there are people right now who are elected who Isaac, Ken Whitaker, Kari Wheeler, Brandon Jessup, Donnell White, those individuals, Chanel Jackson, Virgil Smith, that were around 20 years ago
Mhm.
organizing, fighting for democratic ideals back then,
Yeah.
democratic values back then, as young kids.
Mhm. And now
Those
they've
are
come
now
up.
they've come up, and those are some of the names that you see today.
Mhm. Yep.
In different hallways and on
Mhm.
different newspapers, leading the issues and our values in our community today. So I started off at a young age, um, and so I've come a long way. Precinct delegates, I believe, is something that everybody should be trying to. If you just want to, if you're interested in getting in politics, run
Mhm.
for precinct
That's a
delegate.
good place to start.
That's a great place to
Now,
start.
she was just mentioning before you walked in that you were an attorney for representing the AXME local
No, no, no. I was a campaign manager for
campaign
AFSCME.
manager.
Yeah,
Okay.
Herb Strother was the attorney,
Okay.
and so I was a campaign manager for the Prop One, No on Prop One emergency manager campaign. It was a statewide campaign to end emergency management. This was years ago, before the Flint water crisis. My good
Before the
friend,
Flint crisis.
yep, yep, and I'm gonna keep saying his name. My good friend Brandon Jessup, sort of. He's a year or two older than me. I've sort of been a step behind him sometimes along the way, and then we've exchanged jabs sometimes. But at the time, he was running the petition process
Hmm.
to get no on Prop One on the ballot, and I joined him. And once we went through a long process. I mean, we even went to court to get the petitions validated. I mean, because they were trying to pull some games about the font size. Um,
Oh.
but Brandon Jessup started that fight, and I ran the statewide campaign, and we won.
And you won.
And asked me help to fund it. Thanks to Al Garrett, we worked out of
Okay.
the local 25 right on Lafayette
Okay.
to run that campaign. So I know how to run statewide campaigns. I've
Hmm.
done it before when it
Okay.
comes to fighting for democracy, when it comes to fighting for, um, you know, clean and affordable water, when it comes to fighting for, things that are important to the African American community and the values of the Democratic Party.
So you mentioned Morehouse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Morehouse
yeah, yeah.
then.
Yeah. I did
So,
a lot. Did a lot in Georgia. Yeah, that was great.
okay, so you did work in Georgia. So you are a native from Detroit, correct?
From Detroit, 7 Mile in Livernois,
Okay,
born and
shout out.
raised, and the hardcore Democratic politics. John Conyers was around the corner. You look at the amount of African Americans that had businesses on Livernois. I mean, they wasn't
Yeah.
playing. My first job was shining shoes at the age of 9 at one of the most historical shoe shine places, black owned, in the country. So yeah, 7 Mile Livernois. I didn't grow up nowhere else. Where else
Okay.
would I be from?
Okay. So then what high school did you graduate from?
UAD.
Okay.
So I
So
went
you were
to
right there
so I
in the
went to
hood.
UAD, and my parents allowed me to do some other things too. So I did spend some time at another high school, but Mumford for a semester. But yeah, UAD is where I spent
Okay.
seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th grade, and then finally made it through the transition through UAD and
Okay.
became a man for others.
Got you. And then you went down to Morehouse. I
Morehouse
love Georgia.
College.
I lived there for 7 years myself.
Yeah, 10 years for me. I was
Okay.
down there 10 years, and yeah, so in and out of there for 10 years. I
Got
did
you.
a lot of traveling too while I was there, running campaigns all across the country, but even here. But yeah, Morehouse was a phenomenal experience.
Mm-hmm.
It taught me a lot about social justice and the different um, types of African American males, because everybody ain't the same.
Talk
Just
about that.
what I'm saying, just because you're from Detroit and you look and you had certain experiences, that's not every African American male. There are others. And so Morehouse gave me a wealth of knowledge about who I am as a black man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, and who I can be as a black man. And so I think if every black man should at least look at the opportunity to go into Morehouse.
Yeah. And you know who was one here about 3 weeks ago said the same thing? I think you know him as well. Ponce Clay.
Yeah, absolutely, Ponce.
Yeah,
That's
he
my
was on
man.
here talking about,
Yeah,
it was similar, synonymous to what you're saying right
yeah.
now
Just the
about,
experience
yeah.
is you can't to see that many black men in one place at
Mhm.
one time,
Mhm.
at least trying to take the next step to get to their goal
Yeah.
in one place. I mean, that's an experience that I think every black man should at least see.
Yes. At least see.
At least see. So Morehouse was a wealth of knowledge. I got a chance to work in the legislature down there in Georgia.
Wow.
I got a chance to work with the first African American female state rep from Clayton County, which was a very racist county. I got a chance to travel the state. I worked for a good friend of mine. I ran the campaign of Greg Hecht. He was a candidate for lieutenant governor because down there they elect their lieutenant governor and their governor separately. So it's
Really?
a different governmental structure. Yeah, it's a totally different governmental structure. They got a part-time legislature. The governor and the lieutenant governor run separately, so you can end up with a Democratic governor and a Republican lieutenant governor in Georgia.
They do have a lot of. I mean, I was there when the young lady was running against. I can't even think of his name right now. It was pretty messy. I mean, it was really boots on the ground. We
Okay.
had Oprah, everybody, and it. I feel like there was some discrimination there too. There was some shady business that happened with that election as well. But you're not just in politics; you're a businessman too.
Yeah,
So let's
yeah,
talk about some of the accomplishments that you've made as a businessman in the city of Detroit.
yeah. Yeah, so I own a few businesses, a couple nonprofit organizations, but a lot of people know me for being the first African American to open a dispensary, an adult use dispensary for marijuana in the city of Detroit, recreational use
Okay.
dispensary in the city of
Oh,
Detroit.
it's recreational.
Recreational, adult use, same thing. So recreational means it's we open for medical,
Uh-huh.
but for African Americans in this city, really I was the first one to open recreational period in the city.
Congrats. Where is it located?
So we're on Gratiot, just south of Houston Whittier, on the east side of Detroit.
Is that
Um,
the cut?
that's right.
Oh yeah. Okay, I didn't know that was you.
Oh, you been? Yeah, you
I
didn't
get
know.
text messages occasionally.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, you
why.
must be in the Diamond Club. So you just got caught. You just got caught. You in the Diamond Club. Look at
Oh
there.
wow.
Seeing you brought that out, I wasn't even gonna say nothing.
Hey.
But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you for being there for us.
Yes, yes.
We've been around for a minute,
Okay.
and I don't brag about the business, but I was lucky to do something um, that I was interested in, that was on the verge of a new industry,
Yeah.
and there was, very, very political, highly political in the beginning. And so I
Yes,
was
it
able to
was.
merge something that I loved with something that I was working on anyway, and something that I knew. And I think that's really why I ended up being in the place that I'm at
So I'm
right
sure
now
that
in
was a
the
fight in
industry.
itself, huh?
Oh, it's been a fight for a long time. I mean, there are not too many African Americans
That
in the
was going to be my
industry.
next question. How
Hmm.
many would you, because the majority of them that you see are people that don't look like us. They're a different race. I can't even say Caucasian, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think the percentage is of
It's,
African Americans?
what I mean, it's very low, but it's not really about the percentages to me. I mean, I think it's about the opportunity. We didn't, the chips are stacked up against African Americans in the industry anyway. So,
Hmm.
if for any African Americans that smoke marijuana or use it for medicine, or you need to try to be intentional about supporting your African American owners in the business, because not only are we few and far in between, but the chips are set up for us not to be able to succeed. So if you, yes, come to the cut, but if you're on the west side, go to House of Mary Jane. Check out, West Coast Meds. Those are some good African American owner
Let's shout them
operators.
out for the people who don't know. If we're gonna buy it, buy black. You said
Absolutely.
House of Mary
Yeah,
Jane.
House of Mary Jane. They're on 7 Mile, right at James' cousin. That's my man, Antonio. He's been
Okay.
in the game since the beginning.
Okay.
And they tried to take him out a number of times, and he's still here. And so, if you can, please support him. And then, West Coast Meds. He's on Linden, right between Livernois and Wyoming, I want to say, or Livernois.
West Coast Meds, everybody
Yeah,
black owned.
black owned. Yeah, so please go support those two
Yes.
dispensaries. They are phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal owner operators with a whole lot of knowledge, not just about the business, but also about the plant and the culture and the industry.
Hmm.
And they've been there since the beginning,
Okay.
and they've helped me out along the way. So please go support those two.
Now this lady right here has been like your biggest cheerleader.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Next to Tashana. Okay.
Next to Tashana.
Next to
Give her
Tashana.
her stuff now.
Okay.
Give her a top. Give her the
Yes.
top.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
she was speaking about you, running for the Michigan Democratic Party, being the leader. So, can you talk to us about your campaign? What does that title entail, and when is the election?
So the election is Saturday, February 22nd, here in the city of Detroit at the Renaissance Marriott. I'm running for chair of the Michigan Democratic Party. As I've said before, a lot of people know me as being born, raised as a Democrat. I've been a part of the party in this state and this country, for a very long time. And so, you have to be a member of the Michigan Democratic Party in order to vote on Saturday, February 22nd. The deadline just passed not long ago, but if you are a precinct delegate, you can show up and vote. That's one of the benefits, one of the powers of being an elected precinct delegate in the state of Michigan. So if you were at the swearing in, you just got sworn in as a precinct delegate, guess what? You can come vote Saturday, February 22nd. You're automatically a member. If you filed as a Democrat, you're automatically a member as a Democratic candidate, a Democratic precinct delegate. If you filed as a Republican, you're automatically a member of the Republican Party. So,
Okay.
um,
And what will you do as chair for the Michigan Democratic Party?
well, I'm gonna do a whole lot. I'm gonna bring value back to the party. I'm gonna help people understand our values as
Hmm.
Democrats. I don't think that I think we've missed the boat in helping people who identify as Democrats understand what our values really are of
Hmm.
equality, stepping up for democracy, making sure that we keep democracy. Um,
Could be across the board. It seems like values have gone out the window. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, in a whole lot of ways. I mean, I think the House of America is on fire, and if
Oh,
we don't fix it, right now, then it's not going to get any easier for anyone, especially African Americans. I mean, you see what's been going on for the past few days,
yes.
since Donald Trump has been elected, and so I
It's
really
scary.
no, it's definitely scary. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's
Well,
definitely
Gulf of
scary.
America now, no longer Gulf of Mexico.
Well, yeah, I mean that's not the scariest thing, but
I mean,
yeah, yeah, I mean that's crazy.
yeah,
Many, one of
Yeah, I
many.
mean, I was just with a friend of mine, a business partner of mine, who was actually from Canada, and he was just in the moment that Donald Trump said that Canada should be the 51st state. I got a phone call from him, and we talked about it. But even more importantly, you know, the amount of business that he does between Windsor and Detroit, and to have, you know, tariffs coming. I mean, he's concerned.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he
As we
and
all should be.
yeah, and he's a avid businessman in the city of Detroit. People have been employed by him, and he's a dual citizen. And there are a whole bunch of those individuals, and that do business in Detroit that are
Yeah, because
really,
it's
really.
across the
It's,
the bridge.
I mean, it's closer than
Yeah,
than Brighton. I can get to Windsor faster than I can get to Brighton,
right.
Michigan,
Hmm.
or I can get to Windsor faster than I can get to Mackinac.
Right.
And so they do a lot of business here. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a concerning issue. And I think a lot of people laugh about that, but there are a lot of business owners that are very, very, very concerned. Yes, they're going to make their adjustments, but they ain't
But they're
happy
going to
about it.
pass the cost down to us consumers as well. So we're all going to feel this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think everybody. Well, I mean, I think it's more than just tariffs, though. I mean, I think that we all need to be paying attention, and in getting engaged in what's going on. Don't just sit on the sidelines. I mean, your life will be affected.
Let me ask you this, Al. With these executive orders, right, that are being signed, um, how much power does President Trump actually have to enforce a lot of these things that he's just signing away on?
I
It
mean,
looked
there
like
are a
he
lot
just
of
took the
checks and
magic marker and just started signing.
well, there are a lot of checks and balances. I mean, but he's testing the waters on those checks and balances,
Hmm.
and so no executive orders. He does have some power, but there's a lot that has to go through Congress. Unfortunately, we don't control Congress.
Hmm.
The Republican Party does,
Hmm.
um, and we don't control the Senate. Um, and really, we don't control the Supreme Court either.
So what do we do? Do
So,
we just
although
sit back
there
and
are
pray?
supposed to be checks and balances there,
Yeah.
we're we're
Well,
we're
they're
not
all his people.
we're
They're
not
all
in,
his party.
we're not in power.
Exactly. So
It's,
what can we do?
I mean, you can't sit on the sidelines. I mean, you got to
Sure.
organize. You got to fight. I mean, the law is really on our side. This is still a land of laws, not of men. And so we have to make sure that we're using that in our benefit. That's why you see so many attorney generals
Hmm.
coming out immediately and making lawsuits as soon as he starts breaking the law. He's made some executive orders that go completely against the Constitution, completely against separation of completely against state law, and the fact that there's some sort of um, not sovereignty, but some sort of home rule there for states and their control on
Hmm.
certain issues that he is overreaching on right now. That's one of the reasons why states are making or are suing. When it comes to sanctuary cities and protecting immigrants and immigrants'
Hmm.
rights,
Hmm. Hmm.
there is some separation there, where the federal government can't just walk into a school and start arresting people. You know what I'm saying? And say that if you get in the way as a governmental employee, you're gonna get arrested too. I mean, there is
Well,
some
there's a fine line
separation.
between democracy right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying if people need to pay attention. We tried to say what was going to happen, and it's happened anyway. Now that it's happened, for those who
Voted.
you need to get involved. You
Hmm.
cannot be scared and step back. You got to step into your value and step up. I mean,
And step
yes,
up.
that's right. Step up into the
No,
leadership in
Mr.
the gap.
Curry, I want to hear your opinion on some of these executive orders that our president has just signed into action. What do you think? And
Well,
touch on both of you, him, pardoning these individuals that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. So I'm gonna hear
well,
you
the
and then you.
table was stacked against us when he was in office 4 years ago, or however many years
8 years.
ago.
Hmm.
He stacked the Supreme Court then.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he's just doing the things that he put in play. Okay, ain't no way in the world you can tell me that what they did January 6th deserve a pardon. And the thing that I liked about it in terms of it being a bad thing is the Republicans wasn't over here and the Democrats wasn't over here. They was all together.
Hmm.
They was all together. And like I said, it was a terrible thing, don't get it wrong. But he gangstered us out once and now again, really? America?
Hmm.
Come on now. Or we're gonna make America great again. Yes, you're gonna make us great again because we'll be going back to the
Jim Crow laws.
thank you, thank you. You know, I'm the darky, we the darkies, so you know we on the back of the bus, and then you, being a little lighter complexion, you're on the front because you get to sleep with Master. And it's just sad that
What?
it's just sad that Martin Luther King and you know all these civil right fighters, you know, who ran from the water and the dogs and what have you,
Yeah.
turning in their grave. Really, America? Really? You know, and it's just sad, and I ain't trying to start crying, but it's just real sad that we have went in reverse from 1966.
I will agree with you. It feels like
Yes,
we're going backwards. What
we
about
are.
you, Al? What do you think about those individuals being pardoned?
Well, I mean, he said he was going to do it, but I think that I've been saying this for a long time that we are going, the hands of clock of time are being turned backwards on us, and it has been for a long time. I think it's since Donald Trump has just expedited itself. That's number one. Number two, I think that he said he was going to pardon those violent individuals who attacked, um, you know, police officers and those violent individuals who attacked and killed, um, those law enforcement individuals. Um, and so, no, I don't believe that that was what he should have done. I don't think anybody agrees with that.
Hmm.
You know.
Apparently, there's some.
Of
Well,
course.
there are always some. There were some insurrectionists too. I mean, we can look. We've been here before. This country has been here before.
I know, but not like this.
Yes, like this. Andrew Jackson, he pardoned insurrectionists as well.
Okay.
I mean, this was the same sort of move that this history is repeating itself, and we need to be very, very careful because what came after that was not pretty, And so, need to be mindful of what. I mean, they're already talking about a third term.
I saw
Of
that.
course.
I
Of
saw
course.
that, but I felt that was coming.
I mean, I don't know who didn't when he
Yeah.
ran for a second
Yeah,
term.
I
Right.
felt that. Yeah.
And so, I mean, we are trampling on the Constitution and democracy, and we need champions of democracy to stand up. If you understand,
Yes.
I actually want George Bush back. Where is George Bush? I was the biggest organizer and advocate up against George Bush. I thought he was a horrible president, but compared to this
Yeah.
guy, man, I want him back. Like for real. I mean, I really, I mean, he is trampling on democracy. He is
Yes.
trampling on
He's
rights of
trampling on rights.
individuals. He does not care. And if we're not careful, really, I think it's kind of late. I think he's already stepping into the role of dictatorship.
Yes.
Hmm. Oh,
Yes.
without a doubt.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Hmm.
And it looks like he can't even get along with people. Looks like him and Elon Musk are having a little tiff right now.
Okay.
It wasn't even 48 hours after he gave him
Thank
an office
you.
in the White
Thank
House.
you.
So,
Thank you.
um, I don't know. I think it's a time for us to. I'm also a proud member of Greater Detroit Realtors Association,
Okay.
where we focus on building wealth via home ownership and
Hmm.
creating more first-time home buyers.
Okay.
And I think this is just my personal opinion. I think more so now than ever, we really need to come together on a political front, but we
Hmm.
also need to come together and talk about business and getting money and becoming more self-sufficient
Hmm.
because It's looking scary to me
It is.
over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Martin Luther King once said that the civil rights movement was important, but after that would be the economic and political movement within the African American or the African diaspora. And I think that we are, we've sort of started that political movement, but it's not completed yet. I think Obama was a testament to that, but it's not nowhere near finished yet. And I think that, we as African Americans cannot sit on the sideline. I mean, we can't even. We also got to hold our own selves accountable, for celebrating and supporting and taking the pennies from that dictator. I think that we can't continue to 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 support those who are stepping on the necks of African Americans while taking a check.
And I'm going to go a step further. We have to stop stepping on our own necks as
Thank you.
well.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So I always try to find something positive, to
Mm-hmm.
close out the show.
Okay.
And let's try this on for size. Maybe, just maybe, all of this chaos that's going on in the country right now could be the thing that helps us to unite with one another
Stronger.
and stand on one accord,
Yes.
because
Make
I
us
think that's
stronger.
the only way we're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, can you tell us, let's assume that you are going to be the next chair of the Michigan Democratic
As long
Party.
as you show
Hey,
up and
Oh,
vote,
well,
as long
for
as you
sure
show up and
will.
vote, I will.
we there.
All right.
Okay.
So how would that help strengthen us in Michigan? And like, what would that look like for us,
Yeah,
Al?
yeah. Well, the Michigan Democratic Party has had two African American chairs. If you go to the website right now,
Okay,
MichiganDemocraticParty.com or MichiganDemocrats.com.
I'm going right now.
If you go to the website right now, you look at the chair. It's an African American female. If you read her bio, she'll say that she was the first, but she's not. There was one prior to her,
How
who
long
was
ago was that prior
this
to her?
was 20 years ago.
Okay.
There was a black man who won, and he was pushed out within 6 months. So the party really doesn't record it. So that's number one. And number two, the person, the African Americans need their own agenda within the party that's actually um, funded and functional. We can have promises all day long within the state and around the country, but if we're not actually fighting for those values or putting somebody in place that looks like us that's going to carry out that plan, then it's not going to happen anyway. So, for instance, I'm the only candidate for chair that has a black agenda for Democrats in the state of Michigan. And what does that black agenda look like? Right now in the state of Michigan, we don't have any representation in Congress as African Americans. We're used to be in Michigan. Michigan Democrats used to have the dean of black politics, period. And that was Congressman John Conyers. He was the longest serving African American congressman in Congress. He served more years. Well, I mean, what happened was black folk get apathetic, and Democratic Party doesn't invest in that kind of representation. They don't invest in the traditional allies that have been there for them to make sure that there's representation that looks like those traditional allies, and that's African Americans. And when that happens, you get, I love Rashida Tlaib, but you get, and I love Shree, but you get two people that don't look like us that represent our values.
And they
That
don't know our values.
not
Listen,
all, not always, not always. You're absolutely right.
well, I worked
Progressive.
on Sherry Gay Nadego's campaign. I even threw an event for it in my office. Okay,
Okay,
I was
okay.
die hard. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what happened. A lot of us just went the other way. They went with Sheree.
Yeah, those progressive values
Really
that they
haven't seen
have,
them since.
those progressive values that they have, Shree and Rashida,
Mm-hmm.
don't always include us. But when we have someone like a John Conyers or Sherry Gay Dagnago, those values that they represent us, but they also always include everyone else.
Yes,
That's why it's important for us to
we're
have
inclusive.
exactly. We lead with being inclusive. That's we don't have a choice
We
but to
don't
be
have a choice.
but to be inclusive.
In order to be taken seriously, we have to. It
Exactly.
can't just be a black
And
agenda.
that's exactly why, one of the reasons why I'm running for chair of the Michigan Democratic Party. And I think that we need to be, as African Americans, once again, we need to show the Democrats that the one of the values that they live by, one of the pillars of the party, is inclusivity.
Mhm.
And if we don't lead this party, inclusive, obviously there is no inclusivity. You
Right.
know, if you look at what happened at the DNC, or you look at what happened with MDP, with Arab Americans and Muslims sort of being held out, their voices being shuttered and held out over the past year
Mm-hmm.
on both levels, that's not being inclusive. That's not standing on the values within the Democratic Party.
You're right.
And so I'm running with for a black agenda. I want to make sure that we have some representation,
Okay.
not only in Congress, but also on the local levels. There's no reason why we have predominantly black cities, without a mayor that looks like us.
Yeah.
I think having someone that looks like me has changed the complexion of this city. Having someone that doesn't look like me obviously has changed the complexion of this city.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that in urban areas where there are um, overwhelming numbers of black Democrats voting, that if they want someone that looks like them, that they have it.
What
Um,
about the Latino community? We can't forget about them
Well,
either.
I'm not forgetting about them whatsoever. But what I am saying is representation is important.
Okay.
And I think that the Latino community needs to have that same representation.
Yeah.
The Muslim community or the Arab American community needs to have that same kind of representation. And I think we've lost sight of that within the Democratic Party. I also think that, the party spends a lot of money. And a lot of times that money goes to the same traditional folk. And they don't look like us. So when it comes to creating a pipeline of those African Americans within the party, you have to make sure that there are contractors and consultants and people who work, organizers, throughout this state. We want to make sure that that our organizers and our contractors are in a replication of our members,
Okay.
and the
Because
backbone
Michigan's
of this
not a
party.
small state. We're an
Oh, not at
important
all.
state.
No, absolutely. And what I mean by that is, for instance, there was over $1 billion raised and spent in the past election.
Okay. Over
Um,
a billion?
Over $1 billion, and less than 1% of that was spent in the African American community. And so, as an African American male running for chair, not only will I continue to spend money with those traditional allies
Mm-hmm.
in labor that we and working families, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we are creating a pipeline for African Americans to really get into the business of governing and politics. So, as organizers, as consultants, as pollsters, as leaders within the parties, within the party and elected officials, I want to make sure that we are creating a pipeline to sort of funnel that and make sure that we have people that have companies to create yard signs for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
that are African Americans, that have labor workers working for them, that may be able to get paid right along with Sawicki and Sons, who makes millions of dollars off of every election cycle.
So they're getting the same contracts to the same
Exactly.
people. I had an event like that in my office in regards to the land bank procurement. Why are the same people, same contractors getting the contracts when we have people here who have proven that they're eligible to receive
And they
these
black.
contracts.
And they black.
Black, yes. So before we get out of here, how can everybody help you, Al? What can we do?
Go check out the website www.alformichigan.com. This is a real fight. This is not a game. I'm up against the establishment. But we have a whole lot of support around the state, not just from black folk. The Rural Caucus, which is
Okay.
made up
Rural
of
Caucus.
hardcore Democrats from rural areas across the state of Michigan. Grassroots Caucus, which is made up of progressive Democrats and hardcore Democrats and precinct delegates and organizers from across the state of Michigan. Many elected officials, many African American mayors and other elected officials, senators and city council members from around the state, not just Detroit, have signed up to support. So go to www.alformichigan.com. Take the pledge if you are a precinct delegate or a member of the Michigan Democratic Party, and then get engaged. Get engaged in your party.
Yeah.
Come to the convention. If you've never been to a Michigan Democratic Party convention before, show up on Saturday, February 22nd, and let's
And where will
stand
it be? Let them know.
Saturday, February 22nd at the Renaissance Marriott. Show up and let's rebuild the party for the future from the bottom up and not the top down.
We got less than 1 minute left, Al. What do you want the people to know about you as we exit?
I'm a fighter. I'm a champion for democracy. I'm going to empower the voices of those traditional allies of this party, especially African American women, the 92%. They show up
Yep.
92% of the time for the Democratic Party, and voices go unheard so often. And so I want to make sure that I champion not only those voices, but the traditional allies, the hardcore Democrats of this party, and fight for democracy. I'm a pit bull. And so I'm gonna continue to fight until I win. I'm a hardcore Democrat for Detroit, and so I get involved in my establishment. I fight and lean into my values. I fight until I win, and I make sure I hold the establishment accountable. And I'm asking you to join this journey as we rebuild the party from the bottom up. Go to alwilliamsformichigan.com, take the pledge, join the journey. Let's go fight.
Let's go fight. Miss Curry, thank you so much for being here as well.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
being here. Al
Thank you.
Williams, uh, what do you want to say? We probably got like 5 seconds left. What do you want to tell the people about you?
I'm the best candidate for the Michigan State Party Central Committee. I have the experience, I have the know how, and I'm interested in Black women taking their seats at the table. We
Amen.
need to be there, okay?
All right.
We should have been there. How about that?
Well, thank you so much, Detroit, for tuning in to another episode of Beauty and the D, where we focus on power, wealth, and style. We're here every Saturday from 1 to 2 on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. See you next week, and thanks for tuning in.